Good morning. So, today we're talking about financial literacy, the basics of budgeting and savings. This is our first session in financial literacy. Today we'll be talking about basics of budgeting and savings, and then we'll be talking about the basics of credit and debit next week, and then the basics of financial aid and public resources, which will help with like different needs, which we'll discuss today while talking about budgeting and savings, like different needs and wants and public assistance you can get to help you with that. So, yeah. So, we're going to start off with a video.
Fortune teller.
Sorry. So, we don't have to listen to that again.
Fortune teller. Sweet. I can't pass up a good deal.
Come in, come in. Cross my palm with silver to unlock the secrets of eternal prosperity. It's $20, kid.
What? I mean, of course, I thought this was supposed to be a cheaper place.
I sense your name is
Jen?
Jen. And you appear to be a plumber.
Nope.
But there is more than meets the eye. For you have some sort of part-time job?
Yes.
Great. So you have a regular paycheck coming in. Draw a card, Jen. Choose wisely.
Oh no. What does it mean?
Oh, that's just car insurance. That's usually an annual one. So that goes over here. Draw another. Oh my. With that card, I sense a powerful energy here.
The utilities card? Wait a second. Utilities, income, expenses. Are you budgeting me?
Well, yeah.
I thought you read fortunes.
You won't have any fortune left for me to read unless you know how much you spend versus how much you earn. Your income is actually less than your paycheck or salary. When planning a budget, you must factor in taxes and deductions. Otherwise, you will be budgeting money you don't even have.
But budgeting is mostly for saving up for big stuff, right? I pay my rent and internet, and I still have money left over, so I'm good.
How do you know what you can and can't afford?
Well, I look at my account balance, and if there's money there, I know I can spend it.
Your palm! Show me your palm!
Palm reading. Now we're talking. Ow!
No more spending until you give every dollar a job. Part of that account balance that you're freely spending on fun stuff should actually be going to savings and one-time payments. Budgeting doesn't mean feeling guilty for fun purchases. It means feeling confident about them.
Like being in control of your own destiny.
Sure. Look, my crystal ball.
What do you see?
It's a warning, an unforeseen circumstance, an emergency of some sort.
Oh no.
It is unavoidable, Jen. If you do not prepare yourself, it will cost you dearly.
That sounds horrible. What is it? An accident?
It could be, or just like your car doesn't start one morning, or there's a loss of income in your household, or something like
Oh,
that.
this is a budgeting thing again.
Emergency fund is an important part of your budget.
It's cool. I get it.
Are you sure? Because I predict many more sessions for you with the budget fortune teller at a very reasonable rate.
No, I think I got it. Budgeting is about control. I need to be real about my income and watch out for sneaky expenses. And savings and emergency funds are important. Great.
But the crystal ball told me I foresee at least 7 to 8 more sessions. Luna has bills to pay too. Hey!
This is so pretty.
So that was our first slide, and that was just, I thought was a funny clip on just to really bring you guys into budgeting and what it is. I think a lot of people really think budgeting is more for people who have bills or are adults, but it's best to start budgeting and saving your money as soon as possible. And that way, when you do get in those positions, you're ready and you understand what you need to do to be financially responsible. So, the importance of a budget is not only to help people like figure out what they are going to do with their money, but to make sense of it. So if you know you have to pay rent and utilities, like in the video was saying, and you just think you have other money, that's how you end up dealing with overdraft fees because you spend money you really don't have because you have unexpected expenses. Did you budget in your bank fees or did you budget in your Apple Music that you totally forgot you pay for once a month or Netflix? So those are small things that you'll end up spending because you'll forget that it'll come out your account and then you're spending money you don't have. So it helps you make sense of the money and then also it helps you really bring stability to difficult financial situations. If you ever heard the phrase living paycheck to paycheck, um, a lot of people do have to live paycheck to paycheck the way bills are set up. But the best way to be able to stabilize yourself and maybe even try to get out of a difficult financial situation is by budgeting. If you're able to just save a little bit of your paycheck every 2 weeks or every couple of days when you get paid, you then can build up some money that will then help you later down the road. And it'll also help you achieve goals. Like everyone loves to travel, but everyone doesn't have the money to travel. So the best way, I know me, I want to go to Italy. So I was like, hey, in 2 years, I probably can go if I budget and I really won't feel that dent of trying to go somewhere. And then it makes your goals possible. Like it actually makes you feel like you can do those things instead of just being like, oh, I just don't have the money. Even with education, tuition. Tuition was crazy. So in high school, if you have a part-time job, try to put a little money to the side so you can pay for the like tuition or even books. And then when you get to campus, they don't really tell you, but you turn into a broke college student. And one day you'll be like, man, I just wish I had $10 to go get something to eat. And it's just like, well, if you, while you were living in your parents' house, or maybe if you had less bills in high school where you could put a little money to the side, hey, you might have that $10 when you go off to college and really want to go get something to eat. So that's the big importance of a budget. Like she said at the end, it's not to make you feel bad about those fun purchases, but to make you feel confident. You know you have the money, you know you can spend it. So, how do you create a budget? First, I know with me, I got a sheet of paper and I legit sat down and wrote down all my expenses from Netflix, Zoom, my rent, utilities, internet, stuff like that, um, down to like small stuff. Like I budget in getting my nails done every 2 weeks. I budget in getting my hair done if I want to buy hair products or something like that. And I know the type of person I am. So I even like budget in a splurge account where I'm like, I know I'm gonna want to buy some clothes, or I know one day I'm just gonna want to really buy $100 worth of stuff off Amazon. Instead of trying to like just stop it altogether, I put it in my budget and see like how do I work it where this is okay until I'm able to spend less. So it just really helps, and it also helps you prioritize your immediate needs. I know if I have rent due on the first and it's the 28th, it might look like I have all this money in my account. So I know I can't go shopping because I have a budget. And I know rent is coming on the first. But if I didn't have that budget, I think I have all this money and it's time to go shopping. And then on the first, I'm looking crazy and about to get kicked out of my apartment. So budgeting just really comes in handy with things like that. And then once you set out your expenses, you want to then set out your income. How much are you making? Um, if your mom gives you $100 a month, that's income. If you have a part-time job and you're getting a check every 2 weeks, income. If you know you can call up your grandparents or someone like you have that you know you can call for some money every so often, or someone gives you some money every so often, you can calculate that in your income. And then you also want to calculate extra cost. So extra cost would be kind of like a cushion fund. I try to set a little bit of money aside every time I get a paycheck, not for my savings, but just in case something does come up. Um, like I was saying with the unexpected cost, if you don't really set your expenses, you might have unexpected cost and then incur overdraft fees because you really didn't look into it. But sometimes you just didn't know. Maybe one day you parked in an area where it's a restricted zone, but you didn't notice because you was running late for work. And then your car gets towed. That's the extra cost you didn't think about. So you want to just put a little money to the side for things like that. And you want to try to make goals, if they're weekly goals, monthly goals, like, oh, this month I know I want to like save up 50 bucks because I want to go somewhere next month with my friend for her birthday or something like that. And just make sure you are prioritizing and write down your goals. A lot of people come up with goals, and a big reason you don't really stick to them and stick going towards those goals is because you don't write them down and you don't see them. When you look at them and you see them and they remind you of what you're trying to do, you're more likely to be motivated to actually work towards it. And then just the basics, tracking your spending. A way I do every month or twice a month, I sit down and I actually just go through my transaction history and see what's going on, make sure nothing looks weird, make sure I didn't get double charged for something by mistake or just things like that because people do lose money like that and they just don't even know it. I know I was charged a fee for something and I wasn't supposed to be. So, but if I didn't go through my transaction history, oh, excuse me, but if I didn't go through my transaction history every so often, I wouldn't know. Or like I ran to the store and got some water because I was super thirsty. Like I'll forget about that when I'm going to like actually track those expenses. So you want to make sure you really just sit down, do the math, and make sure that the income you have is more than what you're spending. And if you see that you're spending small stuff at like gas stations and convenience stores and your spending is becoming more than your income, now you realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't stop there so often. Maybe I should like just go on and maybe at school they'll give me some free water or some free juice or something. So then you have to like balance what do you really need and what do you want. And then we already talked about identifying your income, and then you can plan your expenses. We talked about this a little bit. The official words for them is fixed and variable expenses. So fixed expenses is something that you know is going to happen. Your rent, car payments, insurance, like classes, tuition, things like that that you know are happening. Variable expenses, hey, you might spend $50 on groceries this month, but you might spend $100 next month. You like, or the convenience store, like we were saying, you might spend $2.38 that you didn't think you were going to spend this month because you don't need gum like next month. So those are things you really want to look at and make sure, and that's why it's a good reason to track your expenses. I will take a pause right now. I know this is a lot. Do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Um, and I'm pretty sure this is our almost last slide. This is another video, and it talks about the 50-30-20 rule. Like we've been talking about expenses, income, and just extra cost and things like that, and savings. There's a 50-30-20 rule. So 50% you want to spend on needs, which is rent, groceries, utilities, car payments, things like that. And then once shopping, eating out, doing certain events, going out to like water parks, adventure theme parks, things like that. And then you want to save 20% of your income. So if you're bringing in $1,000 a month, you should at least be saving 200 and putting that 200 towards your savings, and then 500 should go to your needs, and then 300 can go to your wants. And then that extra cost, you have a little cushion. And we'll end on a video just like we started.
I do not have the budget for new shoes right now.
Over budget, eh?
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe I can help. I'm a card-carrying budget builder.
I keep trying to make a budget that works for me, but it all keeps falling apart.
Sounds like you need a new approach. Don't hesitate to start from scratch and try again. Begin by getting your basic proportions right.
Go on.
A solid, well-proportioned budget will give you increased security, flexibility, and efficiency when it comes to money. You won't end up constantly broke before payday or saddled with out-of-control debts. What do you know about 50-30-20?
Is that a new boy band or something?
I like you. Allow me to demonstrate. Bring them in. Take your net income and create a budget to spend 50% on needs, 30% on wants,
You know I'm the coolest one.
and put 20% into savings.
I've got your back.
You get it? Start with your needs. Factor in all the essentials like housing, insurance, clothing, transportation, cell phone, groceries, and utilities.
But what if my needs cost more than 50%?
If that's the case, you have three choices: finding cheaper options, looking for ways to earn more money, or sacrificing a bit from another category.
Hey, lousy needs.
Your wants are the most flexible category, but they can also be the hardest to wrangle. Wants include dining out, concerts, movies, fashion, electronics, travel, subscription services, and all other non-essential purchases.
Okay, I'll rein in my wants if my needs are too expensive. Cool.
You could also sacrifice wants to put more into savings. Hey, back off, pal.
Yeah.
Savings are extremely important, and not just for big, long-term goals like buying a house or retiring. You can also save for short-term future expenses, like an annual payment or a needed computer upgrade. You should put some money aside for an emergency fund as well. Saving up ahead of time will help you keep your budget more manageable, so you don't have to resort to high-interest debt to cover unforeseen expenses.
Can I save less than 20%?
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But remember that your savings help with future needs, which aren't optional.
That's right. Ignoring me could come back to haunt you.
Alright, I like this whole 50-30-20 thing, but my real problem is sticking to the game plan. How do I keep my budget from falling apart again?
That depends on you. If you want total and complete control, then go old school and make an itemized spreadsheet.
And if I want super easy?
Then let technology do it for you. There are some great online tools and apps out there that make budgeting a stat, no matter which method you choose. Make sure you track your spending for 2 months to get a full picture of your spending habits. Then you can make adjustments to trim down your needs, maximize your wants, and stay on top of savings.
Nice. I can make it all work together instead of feeling like each expense is fighting for dominance.
Yeah, when your budget is well built, everything will fit nicely.
Awesome. I'll use the 50-30-20 rule as a framework and build myself a better budget this time.
Now you're talking. Go get 'em.
Oops.
So, like she was saying at the end, you don't have to stick to the 50-30-20 rule. Every paycheck, every like income doesn't allow that. So, you want to really treat it as a framework. So, like she was saying, like they were saying, you can take some from your wants and put it into your needs if your needs are higher than 50%, or you might be able to take some of your savings if you aren't able to save 20% of your paycheck. Like you can save a little less, but that framework is to try to help you build in that cushion so you don't run out of money like before your next paycheck, and you have a little bit of savings where if you do run into certain things, like they were saying, a computer upgrade. I know in college, right before finals, my computer crashed, and I definitely didn't have the money for it. I ended up charging it to my student account, but I ended up having to pay for it later because I could have got a cheaper laptop if I was able to actually just afford one offhand. Uh, so that's just something like it also ties into like an emergency fund since it was finals. I had to get a laptop, but I know back then I didn't have a budget set up like that. So there was no emergency fund. There was no savings to actually even think about trying to figure out, oh, what can I afford? It was like, okay, I'm broke, but I need a laptop. So this will kind of try to help you out a little bit to really get out of situations like that. Because I know in the end, I might have been able to get a laptop, but it was way more expensive than I really needed to pay. And I had to end up paying that back with expenses. Well, sorry, not expenses, with interest. Uh, just because it was like a credit card, like I student charged it. So, yes, that is our beginning of financial literacy. Okay, there we go. So I do have a couple questions, and I do want to just like get a feel of like what do you think some of your needs and wants you have like now as a high school student? What are some things that you have to pay for?
Probably like school stuff. So like maybe sometimes books and paper and pens.
That
So
makes
things like that.
that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, like those are the things that would definitely go into like your needs category, and you would try to figure out, okay, how much do I have to spend on this? And you might even be able to get it in bulk next time, where you don't even have to get it anymore through the school year. And then like some wants, you probably go out with your friends, and like go out to eat and stuff.
Yeah, like going out to eat, maybe buying clothes because I love clothes so much. I love
That's
buying
my weakness
clothes.
too.
I love buying clothes.
Oh yeah. So even though they say fashion and shopping is a want, at this point in my life, I've realized I like shopping too much to really try to put it as a want. So I've just started budgeting in money every month for shopping because I know it's gonna happen. So I rather budget it in and have the money than spend money I don't have. And next thing you know, I'm broke. So yeah, that's my that's my big downfall. So do you have like some sort of budget framework set up?
Not necessarily, but I do put money to the side. I do have a savings account for like if I'm going on a trip or like if I just want some extra money or I need to put some extra money to the side, I have it. But I don't necessarily budget. I should
That's
though.
really good. That's really good because I remember in high school I didn't even have that. Like I would put some money to the side, but soon as like I felt like doing something, it was over, and it didn't matter. Like it was like, okay, well I got it, let's go. So that's commendable already. Like so, but if you need some help, you can definitely hit up your mentor and just be like, hey, I just wanted to really look into this, and then even with the like the first link is to the certificate I was telling you about you can get for financial literacy off their website. And you can even be like, hey, I want to really try to set up a budget. Can you help me set it up? Uh, because I know that was something like I really made a big priority once I got to law school, which is like super late. But that's when it started to really matter and my money started to really like matter. So I had to figure out exactly where it was going. So even if you can't make like a full blown budget, I know I use a lot of different computer tools. When I first started, I just used like an app that let me put in the numbers and legit it made my budget for me. And now like I'm at the point where I can actually like sit down with like an Excel sheet or numbers and play with it and make it on my own. But that's like 5 years down the line. Actually budgeting. And I think that's really important because a lot of people, when they start off budgeting, they see these people doing like all these Excel sheets, and it's overwhelming. Like you don't really know what you're doing. So it's just like you can't really do that because you're just gonna overwhelm yourself. Like we talked about with Jen and how like any new thing you gotta kind of ease yourself into it because it's just gonna get overwhelmed and gonna stop. So that's definitely goes for a budget as well. So even if you just like download an app that says it'll help you like do a budget and you play with it for a couple of minutes a week, that'll start you off really like just learning how to do it. So, and then the second document is an activity if you want to do it. It just shows you, it pretty much puts like it's a bean activity where it puts all your beans together, like income, and you fill out your expenses and it breaks it up for you. So it helps you like really guide you to that 50/30, 50/30, yeah, 50/30/20 guideline and framework. So if you want to play with that as well, that can help you with a budget. But yeah, that's all I have this morning.
Yay, great. That was really good.
Thank
I
you.
get paid next week, so I'm gonna try it out.
Oh snap! Yeah, well, try to do it. They definitely gonna take taxes out of your check. Um, but yeah, once you get it, it should like all the money you get, you should be good. And then just try to like sit down and be like, okay, I know I'm gonna spend this much on school supplies and things like that, and I know I want to put this much in my savings, and I know I'm gonna spend this much on shopping. Like, so yeah, just give it a try. All right,
Okay.
I'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.